What is Kundalini Yoga? This is such a fabulous question because it is quite unlike most other styles of yoga. And it's not as accessible either. Not every studio will offer a Kundalini class because it is quite different. I found Kundalini about 2 years ago, and I started with a Kundalini meditation, and it was really an interesting experience that I had. And the first opportunity that I had to attend a Kundalini yoga class was at a studio in Qualicum Beach on Vancouver Island. I went to the class not really knowing what to expect, and it was so different than anything I had ever experienced before. And I had such a profound response to it that I knew there was something here for me. So I dove in, just like I tend to always do. I dove in and I started learning and practicing on a very regular basis. I almost never miss a day because I absolutely love the journey of Kundalini. So Kundalini is about awakening your energy, awakening your potential, awakening your awareness. And so sometimes it's called Kundalini Awakening Yoga because it's termed after it's represented as a coiled serpent at the base of your spine. And so this coiled serpent is your untapped energy, your untapped potential, your awareness. And when we start to use the very specific movements in a repetitive way, we start to unlock or uncoil that serpent, and the energy starts to move more freely within our body, and it breaks open all of these barriers and these blocks and these walls that we've built in these different energy channels in our body. It has a strong association with the chakra system, the chakra energy system, moving from our root all the way up to our crown. And everybody's experience is different. So I can't really tell you what you will experience. I only know what I've experienced. The only way you can know is by practicing and noticing, really paying attention how you feel while you're practicing and after, and noticing shifts in your life when you start to incorporate a regular practice. So a couple notes for you. Kundalini Yoga is a practice that we do with our eyes closed. As much as possible, close your eyes during the movements so that you can take your journey inward, so you can experience what's going on inside of you instead of noticing everything that's going on outside of you. If you need to open your eyes for your balance, then of course do so. If you need to open to see what I'm doing so that you can get used to the movement, then of course do that. But as soon as you feel comfortable, close your eyes and notice what happens inside of you. As well, in Kundalini Yoga, we primarily breathe through our nose. So instead of the traditional breathing, deeply through your mouth, we breathe through our nose. The breath is a very energetic and cleansing breath. It's often very forceful and noisy when we are breathing in Kundalini. Because the movements are quite fast and erratic sometimes and repetitive, we get into the flow, into the rhythm when we allow our breath to help guide that. And so you'll see when I demonstrate different practices that I'm breathing through my nose, so I really encourage you to do so. Sometimes it can make you feel a little lightheaded at first until you get used to it. So if that's the case, just trust yourself, take a breath with your mouth if you need to, but try as much as possible to do the breathing through your nose. And over time, it'll become much more easy for you and you won't have the same kind of response. The last thing is that just like any other physical activity practice is to trust your body. You know what you can do. You know what's best for you. So if something is painful, please don't do it. Back off. Try a modification of that particular movement or just use the breath. At least do something. In Kundalini, we say, if you can't do everything, at least do something, because action is always going to be our way out. We're never going to become unstuck by staying still. So always do something. Trust your body. When you get to that point, that uncomfortable place where this is just a little bit challenging or maybe a lot challenging, I encourage you to play with that. That's your edge. Play with that uncomfortable zone because often right on the other side of it is everything that you want, is all the breakthrough that you are looking for. So when you reach that edge, when you're feeling like, I can't do this anymore, and your mind starts to tell you you can't, and your muscles are telling you you can't, I want you to say, I can, and push yourself just that little bit harder to go just that little bit over the edge. And every time you reach it, if you push yourself just that little bit more, eventually you're walking on the other side. So trust your body, do what feels good for you. Also recognize that not every day is the same. Some days I have a lot more energy than other days, and that's okay. That's a normal cycle. Particularly in a woman. So if one day you're feeling kind of sluggish, kind of low energy, but you want to still move your body because we want to be doing all of the things we need to do to complete that stress cycle, to awaken things inside of us, then just modify, do something. Or maybe that day you go for a walk, or maybe that day you do a different kind of yoga where you're doing more of a stretching yoga, or a more of a flow yoga that's a little more gentle. Trust yourself, allow your body to be the guide for you. I am not the expert of you. You are the expert of you. So please trust that. And I really hope you enjoy these exercises. I encourage you just to try them. I know that they can be a little bit, outside of that comfort zone. So please just come, bring your mat, bring your water, and an open mind, and let's get started.